let's just introduce ourselves real quick. We'll start down there. How many kids you have, and how many, like, a little bit about your family, and then how many years you've been homeschooling, and maybe like, I was gonna say like what curriculum, but that's too big. We'll get to that later. Yeah, just do a little bit about your family and how long you've been homeschooling.
Okay. I am Latoya. I've been married for almost 23 years. We have 3 kids. Our oldest is our only son. He's now an attorney. So he's a big boy. And then our oldest daughter just graduated through Chef last year. She's headed off to college. And then we have a 16-year-old who's going to be a junior. And I'm not a speaker. I just homeschool my kids. Yeah, that's it. That's us.
All right, my name's Laura Carroll. I have little kids, so I kind of have a unique perspective in that I graduated from homeschool. So my parents homeschooled me K through 12 through Chef, and we're starting. My oldest is going into 2nd grade this year. My middle son is doing a 2nd year preschool, and then we have a baby. He'll be 1 tomorrow. So that's about me.
My name is Suzette. I've been married for almost 20 years. It'll be 20 years in a few days. We have chapter 1 and chapter 2 kids. We graduated 2. They're not the same age, but because I was new to homeschooling, I started them at the same age. They're like 1 year apart. So I didn't have to worry about 2 different curriculums. So they both graduated through Chef last year, and then we have a 1st grader, will be 1st grader this year, and a 2-year-old.
Chapter 2. I love it. That's why we're friends.
My name is Brandy. I have 3 kids. One we just graduated last year through Chef. He is going to commercial diving school. And then I have a junior and a sophomore in high school. I guess I've been homeschooling about 6-ish years. And my husband and I will be married 20 years in December.
Nice.
So that's it.
Yeah, I love their journey. So hopefully she can explain some of that. My name is Gretchen Haney, if we haven't met yet. We have 5 kids. We've graduated 2. We have 3 more to go. We kind of have a chapter 1, chapter 2 scenario, but I only have 7 years between our gap. So I call them my littles, even though my littles are catching up with me quick. And so we have that connection. But so yeah, there's a lot of different experiences up here. I love that Laura came as having graduated, homeschooled, and is now even going to do it again. So it must not have been that bad. And so we want to open the floor to you guys. But if you don't have initial questions, we can start with what was sent in. If you pre-registered, even if you're not in here, we just took all the pre-registration questions and kind of put them in there, because if somebody thinks it or asks it, probably somebody else wants to know it. You know how that goes. So does anybody in here have a specific question that you know you want, even if you submitted it, but you came to the thing, you get priority on your question if you have one?
I have a question. So my daughter is currently enrolled in public school, and now I need to start the process of like getting her out and registered for homeschooling. We're gonna get more information about that.
Yes, the next session is Homeschooling 101. I'm going to answer all of those questions.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hey, Miss Jessie.
All right, let's go with number 1. Are there sports that homeschool kids can play in and outside of normal rec teams?
Yes.
You're a good one to answer
Yes,
that.
there are. There's football, there's baseball, there's volleyball. There's a lot of options. My daughter is in cheer. So Chef offers a lot of opportunities for kids to get involved and have what the normal high school public school would offer. There's a JV team also for football that has recently been started, which is super exciting. So there are a good bit of opportunities for sure for kids to get involved in those things.
Did anybody else have kids do chef sports or anything?
We just kind of did more of the academic clubs and things, and that's been amazing because we had a lot of people. This is kind of off topic, I'm sorry, but people will always, I don't know how many of you are like new to homeschooling, but we got a lot over the years of like, they're gonna miss this. What about that? they've missed nothing. My kids have done things I didn't even get to do in public school. There's always a dance. We're buying formal dresses every 2 weeks for something. All the sports, all the clubs. Our Beta Club went placed in the national convention this past season.
Yeah.
Speech and debate is something one of my kids did. I mean, you name it. Like, everything's available, and Chef's been a great umbrella for all of that for us.
One of my phrases is for homeschoolers, we don't stay home very much.
Ever.
You will literally have to pick your priorities and say
Yeah.
no to things. There's so much. But try it all once and then go from there. So, great question.
I have a question. At what age should the sports start?
That's a great question. Most of them start at the youngest would be middle school. Baseball, football, basketball has some middle school. Softball, for example. If they have a JV, it'll start 7th grade. If they only have varsity, it'll start 9th. So when you look them up, if you see a varsity JV, that's 7th grade. If you see middle school, that's 6th grade. And that would be as young as we go currently, unless you're offering. And then we're open to those conversations. Okay. Does anyone have an example letter of what needs to be sent to the state? That's Homeschooling 101. Groups for teens to hang out, transcripts, etc. He kind of feels like he's missing out. Well, we've got that for you. So, what are some of the things your kids like to do, Suzette?
Which ones?
I know, right? Your older ones, because this one's 15.
Yeah. My older kids did a lot through Christian Youth Theater.
Yeah.
Latoya knows about that as well because her kids have done it too. They didn't really do sports as much. They're more artsy, I guess. But it's a great organization if your kids like to sing and dance, act. They even had sewing classes there at one time. I don't know if they still do.
Makeup classes.
Where's this at? That's called Christian Youth Theater, CYT.
That's the evening classes.
Yeah, it's and your entire weekend. But my oldest did it. So
Your
I-
entire, listen, your life, not your weekend.
It is
You
a
have to
commitment,
commit. It's a big time commitment
it
it really, for the whole family.
I will say though, on the other hand, we do have a kids club in Shep. Your 15-year-olds are welcome to join us, and if you need to curate some programs for
Absolutely.
the middle school or actually that's high school. Sorry.
That's okay. They're still kids.
Yeah.
I'm all for game nights and hangouts.
That's a great idea.
So
Yeah.
talk to me.
And even if they're not athletic, they tend to like to go to some of the athletic things. Like football, Friday Night Lights is fun. There's a student section. We have themes. It might be Patriot Night. It might be Neon Night. Ask the girls. So we try to, and basketball does the same thing. Soccer has that. There's a lot of things they can come and kind of be a part of, for sure. Yes.
Do you guys have something like a PTO, parent association or something?
No, that just is Chef. We're all parent led. That's a great question. So that is how things get done. Our coaches are usually dads who have kids that play. Our beta club is a mom that had kids in beta. Junior beta came back this year because my kid was in 6th grade and we wanted to do it. So it's absolutely parent led, and it's all volunteer. So when your kids are ready to do the thing and you're like, I could help with that, then we would love to come behind you and beside you and open it up to everybody. So
And I can share experience. I mean, this was 20 years ago, however long, but I was really involved with 4-H, and there was a Chef 4-H club, and it was great. And it kind of started to dissolve. The leader who was doing it didn't want to do it anymore. My mom stepped up and led. We ended up with a group, and there were I think it was 8 girls. And the 8 of us got so close. We started having monthly game nights at my parents' house, and everybody would come over, and it was just we just played board games together, and it kind of just bloomed into that, and the fact that you find your community, and there's a lot out there, and if you don't see it, make it. Yeah.
we would love to have those conversations. Great question. Here's a good one for you ladies. How do you choose your curriculum?
Don't ask me. I bought everything. I was coming from being a classroom teacher, and I felt like I needed to set my kids at a desk. We were in the middle of buying a house when we first started homeschooling, and I was like, I need a classroom.
Right?
So we bought a house with an extra room, and I made it a classroom. And we bought all the Abeka curriculum, and my little bitty little 4-year-old was doing schoolwork all day, and it was school at home, and it was not homeschool, and we quickly got out of that. But I would say my honest answer for choosing curriculum, you got to try some stuff out, and you're not going to end up with, most people don't, one company for all subjects for all kids. I don't know a single family that does that. It just doesn't work. It didn't work for us. So we might be doing Saxon math, but Berean builder science, or just kind of trial and error. So I would say buy what you can used, or if you know a friend that's been homeschooling a while, hey, can I come look through your stuff?
Right.
And see what works. There's some like math curriculums that are spiral. Do you have a kid that needs to review every day? Or do you have a mastery-based kid, they got it and they're ready for the next thing? That's gonna matter. So you kind of just gotta try everything, but don't spend a lot of money, if that makes sense.
Good luck with that. Good luck with that.
I don't have a good answer. I'm here to learn that stuff. So.
There are a lot of used book sales. They just had one. I think there's one
Yesterday
going on.
morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a good place maybe to look through the different
Very
options.
textile. I want to flip the pages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like books and not computers.
Yeah.
But y'all do it a little different. How do you
We do. So I also come from a traditional teacher background. And so the very first day we were homeschooling, and my kids are like 1 or 2 years, in between as far as, grades and things like that. And so I had everything printed out from Louisiana Believes, and I just had all these ideas that I thought this is what it should look like. And it was nothing like that when we got into it. We've tried a lot of online curriculums, and we use some workbooks to like supplement those things. But for our family, that's what worked the best, was to use online options. And we've tried different things. Some programs work better for some of my kids than others. My daughter tried a program and she did not like it at all. And so my boys thrived doing that one. And so we switched her. So it just depends on what works best for your kid, their learning styles, and all that. So.
Okay, to piggyback on that, how long do you give a program or a textbook before you shift gears? Like,
I say 6 solid weeks minimum.
okay.
Because I've not encountered anything that I got a good scope of very quickly.
Okay.
And sometimes the kids need that adjustment time too. So if you want to start inexpensive, which is what I highly recommend, I recommend Christian Light.
Okay.
Because you can buy little workbooks. You can buy like a fourth of the curriculum at one time, or you could buy a tenth of the curriculum at one time if you want, and spend like $15 on that subject for that child. Once they finish that workbook, you'll see if this is going to work for them or not. And that they have all subjects. But there's a lot out there, but that's one that was helpful to us when we were still trying to adjust to like, okay, this is a lot of money for every kid, and I'm like, oh, this isn't working, I'm gonna buy that. Yeah, that gets old really fast, especially if you have one income trying to homeschool multiple children. So yeah, I would say 6 weeks, see it through to the end of that, and then what you don't use, sell it immediately.
That's good.
I have a question. How do y'all juggle between, so my kids, this coming year would be 5th grade, 1st grade, kindergarten, pre-K play,
Sure.
we're not there yet. Along with cooking, housework, life, keeping the marriage together, church. Like, how do you juggle all that and take on the role of the educator?
No one does.
We're all just surviving.
Wait a minute, we have to cook and clean? That was not
You either teach or you are a wife that day. I'm just kidding.
It's hard.
I think it's different in different seasons. So I've been thinking about this a lot because my oldest he needs a little bit of attention, and I keep thinking back like, well, what if I put him in school, he would get school attention all day, and I can't do that. And then I was looking at his personality, I was praying about it, and realizing that he he needs to learn, and one of the things he needs to learn is that he's not the center of the world. He's not the center of attention. He needs to learn, and this is one way that he can learn that humility is like, wait a minute, you can work on your worksheet, but I gotta go feed the baby, and you're just gonna have to wait while I feed the baby. Or and that helps them learn how a household is run. And so he's not gone all day. We're in a situation where we bought this house that my sister-in-law grew up in, and she went to school, and she came over to visit, and she was like, this kitchen's so bright. What did y'all do to it? I was like, we didn't do anything. She's like, oh, I guess it's because I wasn't here during the day. Like and so what the gift it is to have our kids there, learning that they're not the center of the universe, learning, that they have to wait while you go do this, or learning what it looks like to clean the bathtub, because maybe that, they would have been at school while mom was cleaning the bathtub. So that's been on my heart a lot as the reason that I want to do this, and the things that I learned, in my background, and I want my kids to learn. So that's
So
good.
Yeah, and then remembering that they're not in school, they're at home. So it's home first and then school. So the school day is built into the rhythms of your home. So when we get up in the morning, we got chores to do before we even open a school book. So they know ahead of time, it's your week to do the dishes, it's your laundry day, and then we meet back here at this table at 8:30. Just whatever works for your family, but not prioritizing school over home. It's home first, and school is just going to be woven into how you do home,
Quick question, regarding that question. Have you guys ever tried the Montessori approach with homeschool? So like the self-led, more so type of thing? Because that's kind of the area that we're heading in, which kind of makes me feel like that's more accessible to do.
Yeah.
Have y'all came across any curriculum that, because I know Montessori actually goes all the way through to 12th grade. Have you guys used anyone? Could you refer one or maybe?
I have a friend who has, and I know that that's kind of a natural inclination for a lot of homeschool families, even without actual
Is that like the
curriculum.
Charlotte Mason?
Yeah.
Is that route? Yeah.
Yes,
Charlotte Mason
that's similar,
has a good-
yeah.
I've not used them, but I've heard good things.
Right. So I know Montessori and classical kind of go hand in hand. We've done classical, so I can speak to that. We've done classical conversations in like a co-op setting. And then we have like done classical type curriculum at home, which I can recommend, like Classical Academic Press, if that's something you're interested in. They have online classes, they have books you can order. But Montessori, I personally haven't really done a lot with it, but I know some people who have.
I just thought that's what happens in the middle of my living room floor while I'm trying to do the dishes. That's what they're doing.
But I think that that'll probably be pretty organic in your homeschool, with that being already a priority. So you don't even have to
I would
gear
I
up
would think
curriculum
that
to that. Yeah.
we don't label it that because we're just at home, and they have to label that in a educational setting. But that is absolutely what I mean. I like textbooks when they get older, but until then, it is that
Yes,
creative
learning
play,
to
and
play.
it's that. Learning to get along with one another, and yep, you're still with that same sibling, and we're still figuring things out. But absolutely, morning chores is a thing they all know. And when I come in for my coffee, because mine always wake up before me, they're like, "We're doing morning chores," like I'm about to strangle somebody, which I'm not. I'm just trying to get to the coffee pot. But they're like, "We're doing morning chores," and because you can put a lot in their court. It doesn't seem like it when they're little, but they know if they didn't do it before we start school, then guess what's happening after? Now they have afternoon and morning chores, and it's going to take them because we're not going to not do it. And that takes a minute and some consistency, which I'm terrible at. But and then some days I'm like, get in the car, we're going to the library because I can't look at this house and teach you. I just can't. And so we come home, and then other days I'm like, I kept them all alive. You're welcome. And that is all I accomplished that day. And we'll try again tomorrow. So you never know what your day is going to look like. But forgiveness for that for yourself is what you're going to struggle with. So, or I did, because I think I've got to do check all the boxes, and I don't even know where the boxes are anymore.
I have one more story.
Yes.
So growing up, I've got 3 younger siblings, and I was thinking about, my mom always brags about how we never watch TV. We only had one TV in our house, and we never watched TV. And I'm like, how And then I think back. Okay, so when I was in 4th grade, I vividly remember the TV came on at 8 a.m. and it stayed on until my dad got home. It did. And all 4 of us have college degrees. We all have good jobs. And that happened I was 9, my sister was 7, my brothers were 4 and 2. So that was for a season, and it didn't last the whole season. You do what you need to do.
It's true. And another thought to that is also involve the kids in as much as you can. So when they're little, they can cook a little bit, somewhat. I mean, cook,
They can be in
But
the
the
kitchen
more,
with you.
well, my daughters, I have, oh my gosh, we have one child left at home. She's going to have a lot of chores this year. But it's just dawning on me. I'm not taking those extra chores. But when I had 2 of the girls still in the house, there's a 10-year age gap between our son and our 2 daughters. So he had chores, then he grew up, and then it was the girls doing a lot of chores. But we learned from him that kids need to do more younger because he was not doing his laundry. He was the only child for 10 years. I did everything for him, and that was not good. And he is now engaged, and his fiance is like, why didn't you teach him some of these things? He'll get it before they get married. But anyway, the girls, when they were little, they learned to cook simple things. Or they knew mommy and daddy have a date night, and this is why it's important. So mama's going to come over. Just letting them kind of understand why we do what we do, and then letting them kind of be involved in the process. So that's been helpful to us. Yes.
What does graduation look like? Testing, documentation?
Sure.
So forth.
There is a whole graduation breakout session if you want to go, but on the short end, you can at any point when your child is finished with high school, you can write them a diploma and the state will recognize it. Now, we have a very, very easy homeschool state, and that's a fantastic thing. Having said that, if they want the opportunity to go to college, because there are reasons to go, and then there's plenty of reasons to not. My goal is to prep them to go, and then if they choose to go, great, they're ready, and if they don't, everything else doesn't require as much. And so there's the 2 ways to register with the homeschool, with the state. One gives them opportunity to gain TOPS, which is a scholarship through the state, and one does not. That's the difference. They can both go to college, because any college will let you pay them to take their classes. So all kids can go to college. That's not a problem. If you're looking for scholarships, you want to register as home study, and you have to do that the last 2 years of their high school. I started as a freshman, so I'm in the habit by the time they graduate, and I don't forget. But that's it. And then they have you. In fact, on Chef's website, as a Chef member, you can print their high school graduation diploma on a Tuesday because you're done with them. That's what the state. It's really that. Now, should it be? I don't know, but that's how it is.
So there's no testing?
No, sir. And it's
If you do TOPS, you have to
ACT.
take the ACT for TOPS to have the scholarships.
Yes.
But as far as just graduating your kid through homeschool, no, you don't have to.
Yeah, I've just been wondering.
Yeah, you don't even have to graduate with Chef.
Yeah.
Our Chef graduation is a ceremony. It is amazing. It is so Christ-centered. It honors the parents who have done all the work and the kids who showed up to get the work. And we want to recognize those things. Absolutely. We had 83 graduates last year. We had 1,200 people show up. It was the music was by the kids. The speeches were by the kids. It was fantastic. But that's a ceremony. You do not have to be a part of that to graduate. So, and even in the diploma in there is something you printed with your homeschool name. Like we're Raising Arrows Academy. Chef did not graduate my kids. I worked really hard for that. I would like my name on there.
Yeah.
So that's a great question. Yes, ma'am.
So I've been in this for a while now, 10 years, but my oldest is about to transition into high school. So what do you guys do for like ACT preparations, through enrollment, that kind of stuff? Because that's what I'm
That's where
trying
you're
to
headed.
figure out.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot of programs. I'm a public school teacher too, so they use Mastery Prep, but that's not good enough for me, because I see homeschool, and I know there's like Princeton Review. There's so many options out there. So how do we prepare our kids for their transition?
For us, this is probably not the right answer. I'm honest. We did not do ACT prep. We threw them in blindly, didn't know anything about the ACT, just take the test with no expectations. I want you to just see what it's like. And then from there, we looked at where we needed to improve, and I handed it to my student. And I'm like, this is where you need to improve. By this point in high school, what worked for us was teaching them a whole lot when they were little. They learned to read really young, and I was gradually handing stuff off to them to be a little more independent. So by the time we got to high school, they were kind of driving the car. And so when we did ACT, I kind of threw them in there. And for my daughter, for example, the one who just graduated in May, her score was really good just going in blindly, but she knew she could do better in math. And so I allowed her probably about 2 months to only do math. We dropped everything. She only did math, but that had to be kind of, some forethought went into that, but she went back in and she did really well just by improving her math score. And so my son, same thing. We threw him in blindly. I was like, where do you need to improve? Or are you okay with this score? Because he could have been okay with the score. And he was like, no, I feel like I need to. For him, it was the English component. And he studied and he went back in. They both tested twice. Could they have tested a third time if they wanted to? I just kind of left it up to them, but they did well doing it that way. But that was because I felt confident that they could do that on their own. Probably if I gotten a late start, I would have been like, okay, we need a tutor. I can't afford a tutor. So I just made sure that they could kind of handle it on their own, if that makes sense. That's probably not the right answer.
My biggest thing, when we're homeschooling, my babies, they take forever. They know the content, but working through it in a certain time frame is what I'm balancing, and so I'm trying to balance, hey, this is what we have to get done in this time, because you have to get used to the time constraints. And so that's the only reason why I was considering.
I would suggest doing a test run early. Like, I know you have to pay for it, but then you can know, like, okay, this is where we need to improve. If I need to just have you do some like time tests or something to kind of get you to feel comfortable in that situation.
Because the pressure is different.
The library often offers free tests.
They do. We forgot about that. Good We love our library.
And if math is a concern, because for my daughter that was where she wanted to improve. I don't know, what math curriculum do you use?
BJU.
Okay, so I'm not sure if this is listed on the site, but I don't like math. Don't tell my kids to say that. I don't like math. So I don't grade math. But we use my math assistant where they can just plug their answers into the website. The website will score every single lesson for me, and if somebody's struggling, it'll just send me an email. This child needs help with this section or whatever. We upgraded the subscription for high school where they would throw in ACT prep questions throughout the day. So it was just kind of like circling through their regular math lesson. If this were the ACT and this was the concept, this is how this question would be framed. And that, I believe, helped her too.
Which program?
This is it's not a curriculum, but it's a website, My Math Assistant. And I know we use Saxon Math, so that website will grade all of Saxon, but I think there's other curriculums that you could use and have graded on that site as well. But that's been really good. All of the tests, all of the lessons, you just pay I think like $10, $15 a month, and I really don't look at it unless it sends me an email and says this child is struggling, maybe revisit something.
So it's not multiple choice. It's just you're using your own curriculum and it basically grades it for you?
Yeah, so you will plug in the book that you're using. For us, we use Saxon, so whatever edition of Saxon they're in, Algebra 2, for example. At the beginning of the semester, you just put in, this is my math book. These are the lessons that I'm assigned to. You could even say, I only want them to do evens or odds, or you have some control over that. They will do their math like normal, but as they're working, they'll just plug in their answers on the website, and it'll tell them right on the spot if it's right or wrong. And if they get it wrong twice, it'll flag it, because, they start guessing if it's multiple choice. Right. And you can, there's some you have some leeway even with that, where you can turn off where they can like guess again.
Right.
And then if they get it wrong twice, they'll even have the option to now get like a little side lesson, a video to show them how to do it. It's really, really good. And it's not expensive, and I like that you could then add that option to throw in ACT questions, because I do think that helped my daughter too.
One of the reasons as a ninth grader that I recommend you go ahead and register them as home study. Then if you do that, though, they have to have a state test to renew. And so as ninth grade, that's when mine takes the ACT for the first time. And I'm like, go learn how to sit in a room that's quiet, because we have 5 kids. There's no quiet at this house. And learn how to sit, write your name, fill in the bubbles, look at a Scantron, things they've never seen. And say, just go experience it. Then we do it again as 10th grade. Don't care what their grades are necessarily. Maybe where do we need to improve? But I didn't even look at that as a freshman, and we stayed the course. And by junior year, they're looking at the scores and they're deciding, if I get 1 more point in English, I don't even have to take that class in college, that kind of thing. But they're used to it. So my daughter's senior year, she was like, oh, I know what snacks I'm getting. She wasn't worried about the test. She'd been there so many times, she knew what the vending machine had. But that's what and so the pressure was gone, and we were just trying to see what we could do. And not to brag, because it was not me, but she scored a 32 on that one, and we were like, and you can go wherever you want.
Yeah.
So she chose not to go to college, but I'm not in charge of that. I laid the groundwork, and she could do whatever. But I'm just saying, that it won't happen. My son didn't score that high, but he was familiar with it, and that concept worked for us. So that was a thought. And then and I knew I was registering them properly to go to college if they so chose. So.
And hey, you don't use Scantrons at home. It's a funny story. The first time one of mine took the test, didn't know he had to use a Scantron. So it's good to start early. Get used to those things.
And my nephew got kicked out of his second time because he went back after break and filled in the rest of the bubbles on the last test, and he didn't know. So but we didn't care necessarily. They needed to learn. They're not in that setting, and he was devastated. But we were like, it's okay. He's going to be on the high school panel. He's at LSU. Like, he's doing fine. It was not devastating to his life. He's going to talk about me. I don't know if he'll include that story, but he rallied. We did it again. We were all like, really?
To start early. That's the thing. To start early.
So it's
and those test taking strategies are key, because a lot of times the content is there. It's just the logistics of the test taking. So.
And I would say one more thing about it. It's not all about ACT, but something I learned the hard way that I wish I would have known with my first child. Get that highest ACT score down junior year, not senior year, because some of those scholarships are gone by the time senior year begins. And so we were like, as long as when I took my ACT right before I graduated. I don't know why, that's just what we did. And so with my son, he took it, I think December of his senior year, he did great, but we had missed opportunities already. So I knew with the girls, let's get your highest score junior year. And if you want to improve from there, great. But if you want them to kind of fund their own education with those ACT scores, junior year, that's my recommendation.
And that is how homeschoolers get scholarships, is their ACT score.
Yeah.
Because you're going to have to write a transcript, but they're not really going to look at it. Because I can write down history all I want. They don't know if I taught it. And they're not. So you'll do a transcript, which is also on the Chef website. So nice. It's going to stay. It's still good. We just added that a couple years ago. But they're going to go by your ACT. So, which is fun. Yes.
I think her hand was up.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I looked about grade levels are normally age, but at what point do you just move your kid's grade level on paper? I know it doesn't really matter, maybe until high school, but if they're working a couple grade levels ahead, can I graduate them early? That's where my mind's going.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's frowned upon.
There's usually a financial impact with graduating them early. If you keep them in high school and do dual enrollment, it's a lot cheaper to do it that way.
Well, I was thinking if they got taught, they could.
Yeah, that's true. So our strategy from our family was to keep them, of course I have all boys but one, so I don't want them to graduate early necessarily. I would rather keep them home and dual enroll until they're kind of ready to be a young man. But if
But they're
they're
not going out of the house. Or
right, but so then I'm still gonna claim them as my student, because once they're graduated, then you have only a certain number of years, and then they move out, and you know. So, but so on paper, my oldest son graduated a year early because he had but he was ready, and we had taken everything, and his ACT score was great. He got accepted at River Parish. He was on the pack that he wanted to go to, so we let him. But he could have been home one more year. So on paper, it looked like he graduated early, but I knew, you know, what I wanted for my kids. But you can't homeschool them after 19. So I just took that number and backed it up, and that's what grade you're in. Yeah. So I have a son too. He's like, Mom, I'm doing 8th grade work. And I'm like, that's great. But you're in 7th grade because you're 12.
I guess I want to follow up your question with a question. What's your goal? When you say move them ahead of grade, like what's the goal in mind to do?
I have two very different children. One's going to be at home probably a lot longer, just developmentally, and one is working way above level. My hope would be that if I could graduate him early on paper, he could get tops and start working out on college classes while he's still at home. I foresee that being feasible for him academically. Yes, he's little, but like if we're graduating early, I need to think about that a little bit earlier than.
We did something similar to Gretchen with our oldest daughter. Her senior year, she's still 17 and she's getting ready to go to college. She was technically done her junior year because we had her working earlier because that was what she was capable of doing. But we did not move on to college because it was sweet to have her an entire senior year where she could just focus on college applications, writing these essays, just enjoying being a kid for a little bit longer without the stress of, I gotta write this paper in order to graduate. So that gave her some freedom. She was done early, but we didn't graduate her until other kids her age would have been graduating. But I do see the value in what you're wanting to do too. I just know that her goal has always been, I'm moving out of state when I graduate. And so I need her under my roof as long as I can keep her there. And so that worked for us. And she was still working within her ability. She was still being stretched. She still was ahead. I hate using that word because there's really no such thing. But it just afforded her some freedom her senior year. And we're going to do the same thing with my last one because that worked so well for us.
Yeah, and I'm working through something similar. So my oldest he just turned 6, but he's been reading since he was 3. So it's kind of a, like, how do you fit him and where, and, like, you know, coming to things like today, they ask what grade he's in for the kids program. It's like, well, he can write. So I want him with the kids who can write, because a lot of times they will ask, you know, oh, well, this grade can't write. And so trying to fit them where they need to fit at the right time. But kind of my experience too, and maybe just genetically we're verbally gifted. Like, I was ahead, and I got to graduate a little bit early. I got to my senior year, and, like, I had all my credits. My mom's like, what do you want to do? And so I spent the year, I dual enrolled 2 classes. I didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life, so I dual enrolled 2 classes. I did a public speaking class and a chemistry class to kind of see, okay, do I want to go liberal arts, do I want to go science? Like, what do I really want to do? Loved the chemistry, not so great with public speaking, so I went on to pharmacy school. But I felt like I was ahead. Like, everything I got to was like, oh, like, homeschooling, being able to start ahead, it's gotten me ahead. It's gotten me to where my first year of college is easy because I've had this before. It's kind of a review. So in some ways that, you know, can help if they want to start ahead, finish early, be done, be ahead, have the time to... I'm rambling, but I went to pharmacy school. I met my husband there. He and I are 4 days apart, and I have 2 degrees. He has 1 degree, and not negating any of that. Like, he is brilliant. He's an engineer. He's breadwinner for our family. He's doing great, and we're a really good fit. But age-wise, I don't know. Just kind of share my story in case that's helpful to see, like, where you can go with changing the grade levels and just following where your kid's headed.
Yeah, we absolutely have plenty of homeschool kids who graduate high school with their associates. Like, it's very doable. Yes, ma'am.
I was going to answer because someone at my church informed me for our godchild they said these CLEP exams,
Mhm.
where you can earn a college course credit without even taking the class.
Yeah, it's
So,
a test.
to actually get those, so while still in homeschool, they can actually take college courses, test out of them. So even when you, quote unquote, graduate high school, you're actually ahead.
Right.
You're ahead in college, so like you can be a junior or even a senior based on how many exams. Now, granted, you have to be out of college.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's worth it if they graduate and basically they're a junior or they're a senior
And you don't have to be. So you go in that number of hours you have when you get to college determines when you get to register for classes, and that determines which teachers you get, and that determines a whole lot of things. So because I went in my freshman year as a sophomore, I registered before all the other freshmen. So I got the best teachers that I wanted because I had all those credits from high school. So
And there's a free route to do the CLEP exams. If you go to modernstates.com, now you want to look at this college that your kid is interested in, because you got to look at which course would be accepted at that school, because sometimes they're labeled a little differently. Like the English comp might be called English 101 or something like that. Modernstates.com is free. You can enroll in as many classes as you want. You go through the course material and it prepares you for the CLEP exam, and you can even submit a waiver through Modern States saying, hey, I took the class with you guys. Can you give me a waiver for the actual exam? So instead of paying $110 for the test, it's free. And you can do, my daughter, I think she did 4 of those, and we didn't pay a penny. And it all translated to her school when she enrolled in college.
I did not know that. That is amazing.
Yes, definitely need that.
I mean,
My goal would just be for him to get more college paid for. I mean,
Yeah.
we still have student loans, and I just regret,
Yes.
like, that's more I want to set him up, not only academically, but like financially for his future. So like,
that's great.
not having that holding him back, that's all.
I know when I did the enrollment, a while back, they had scholarships for the dual enrollment. So
Yeah, I
because
still know
I
that's
had the
eligible.
ACT done in 9th grade, I was able my senior year to use my ACT score and use good scholarship money for my dual enrollment. So me and my husband both did dual enrollment. I visited three of the universities myself to see, hey, what dual enrollments are available and how much does it cost. And the cheapest is like $50 per credit hour.
Yeah.
And they're waiting on our babies.
Yeah.
Then if you go to college,
It's true, yeah.
Check the Board of Regents website to make sure it's transferable to whatever school.
Yeah, that's
Because some of them are not transferable.
Yeah.
I have a question. So it's not dual enrollment. Have any of y'all signed your kids up, let's say to take like Algebra 2 at like VRCC? Have any of y'all's homeschool kids taken the college class
It's in there, it's in the curriculum, in the pamphlet, you can choose
at VRCC?
RCC, Southern, LSU Shreveport, Odyssey program through class, it's all listed and it starts with Algebra 2 college age. But if you score well on ACT, and that's why I was asking about ACT, if you score well on ACT, you skip that and you start with the next course,
Yeah. We haven't done that. Have y'all?
Am I crazy for
No.
I'm not crazy for thinking that, like.
No, I think that is a thing. I have.
my little brothers did it but at VRCC, but I think they had already taken it and then they went and did it a second time just as college algebra or
It
whatever.
was a mom, she was scared to teach it, so she called the college and college taught her kid, and I was like, hey, I'd be asking about that.
Yeah.
It's there.
We did a co-op for that reason though. So like I actually teach Algebra 1 and Algebra 2, but I send my kids to the other moms that are better in English and science and history. So we kind of that's what some of the co-ops around here do that as well. Just a thought if you didn't want to jump to the college. I've not heard the college level. I mean, I've heard dual enrollment, but not that option.
Northwestern offers it online.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's just like one class. Like,
Yeah.
That much schooler just needs that one professional teacher.
Yeah.
Everybody badmouths Abeka, but I love the Abeka videos.
Yes. Rebecca is great. Yeah.
Rebecca is great.
It is great. Yeah.
Okay, we have, is it 11:15?
She has a question.
Yes.
Just real quick.
No, we have time. I was just double checking.
So, I guess mine's more so like an advice question. our family is traveling back and forth to Oklahoma. We live here. They're going to be registered here. They don't have to register in Oklahoma.
Okay.
They're very hands-off with homeschool, thankfully. But I guess my advice question is like, has anyone dealt with that? How would you, like, I've already got like an organized kind of system, but how do you go about traveling back and forth every like 2 weeks is the plan, and maintaining structure and organization in 2 different households?
Yeah.
So that was.
With a newborn, we're gonna have a baby.
Oh, well, I did not have a newborn, so.
She did a lot of traveling, so I was like,
Well, for our family, the reason why, so my kids went to traditional school until they were like middle school-ish age. And then my husband got a job traveling and we traveled with him. So I quit my job and that's how we started homeschooling. The goal was to always go back to school because I was like, you know, we're just doing this thing for us to try out while we travel. But then they never went back. So we loved it. I will say, like, that's one of the reasons why we did the online route. Now my kids were older, so if you have littles, you know, that might look a little.
Kindergarten, and then he'll be 3 in August.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna start doing like some play-based apples and stuff like that, but nothing serious.
It's very doable for sure.
I'm very
I was about to say, and so also part of that traveling, there's 5 of us in our family, and we were in a camper for a very long time of our journey. And so having papers and workbooks and binder, I mean, you know, it can get to be a lot, but don't overwhelm yourself. Just start small and then build on those things that work well for you and pivot when they don't, and don't get caught up in like, what is this supposed to look like, or is this enough, or it's going to be whatever works for your family. So I would just encourage you to just embrace it. We were able to travel to Florida for a while, and then we lived in Arizona for a while, and those places. So my oldest, as mentioned at the beginning, is going to commercial diving school. We were able to get him scuba certified living in Arizona, where we probably would have never done that living in Louisiana. So the places that you are, just dig deep, find different communities there. Maybe there's homeschool communities there, or just things that your kids wouldn't be exposed to in Oklahoma, that, you know, they would get different opportunities there than they would here. So just embrace it. I know it's probably feels like a lot, but
you're still
just
in
go
that
with
field trip life. Everything's
Yes.
Yes. I'm struggling with, because I mean, like the internet now, it's just like, this is what it needs to look like.
No.
And I'm like, well, I can't spend $1,000
Right.
here and $1,000
Right.
in Oklahoma. Like, I need like
I would just
a
think
rolling cart and that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Simple.
No, you know what? Both places will have a library.
Yes.
Yes.
And a playtime and a reading center
Yes.
and a books, and you check them out here and give them back, and then come
Yes.
here and find you some more. You know,
The library is such a great resource,
Yes.
for sure.
Absolutely.
I think homeschoolers keep libraries going. I really do. It's always just us in there. They know us.
Look, I went to a different branch yesterday or Thursday, and I was like, Sarah, you're at the wrong branch. I mean, because like we're friends. I saw her at the movies one time, and I was like, well, hey, and she knows my kids, you know, like.
Yeah.
But just you're sitting at such a fun age. There is absolutely no reason. There's no checklist. They need to learn to read.
That's it.
And they're going to learn their numbers and their colors while you're going down the road. How many big trucks did we see? How many did, you know, like just, we educate our kids without helping it.
I guess to follow up on what you just said, my husband and I, we both come from public school. He is still very much in the mindset that homeschool is public school at home.
Yeah, that's right.
We bought My Father's World, the premium.
Oh.
So, because he was
we've all done it. That's why we know we're
I'm just going to do math and reading with him, and that's all I'm going to do. He's like, no, you need history and this
Not
and
yet.
this and this. And I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. And then I just ordered it. So we're going to...
I teach high school.
Can you talk science?
You can send this to him.
When we first started homeschooling, my son was about to enter kindergarten. And I saw a shift in the schoolhouse. You know, the standards were changing. Everything, virtually everything is getting watered down. That's curriculum.
Yes.
Now, and I looked at, we're Christian. And so I saw, I'm the only Christian, I'm the department chair, I'm the only Christian on this entire hall. You know, almost the whole hall atheist. So,
Oh my gosh.
literally, and I was like, we can't do this.
Yeah.
This is not gonna happen. You know, and so my husband, we're both coming from public school as well, and so he was like, no, they need to socialize. They need to. I said, you do know they only talk between classes, right? Like, it's ridiculous.
True.
All they
Right.
get for lunch, right?
Right.
And so, the Lord is interesting in how he does things.
Yeah.
So my husband was injured. My husband's a combo welder. He was injured, and so when he came out of his injury, he went into the public school arena to teach welding. 4 days is all it took. He walked in the house, was like, Tiffany, I understand what you're saying. I can't go to public. I said, I will tell you. Now you see it. Just go sit. And I was like,
Yeah.
And like the average homeschooler, you know, like I said, I teach now. My oldest came into, and I teach for an A school, according to Louisiana Department of Ed. My son came in this school year with my ninth graders, and he was tutoring them. He's 2 years ahead of the ninth graders.
Yeah. Wow.
So you can't put apples with oranges at all.
Yeah, I
You
think
know?
it's like just the structure is what he's familiar with, and I don't want him to miss out. Like, they're both summer birthdays, so she just turned 5, and I wanted to repeat her pre-K4. She's had a lot of health issues this last year, and he's like, I have a summer birthday, I'm fine, I don't want her to get behind. So it's like, he's coming from a good place,
Yeah.
but I'm like, you're not the one to
Until
teach him
recently,
today.
kindergarten wasn't mandatory.
I know.
Yeah.
It's still not.
What I did last year,
It is now.
Oh, is it?
Kindergarten, yes,
Wow. See, I didn't know that.
It's
Okay.
not developmentally
September
appropriate.
30th.
So-
but
No, ma'am. It's
Google what the requirements are to get out of kindergarten in public school. It's like they have to be able to sit still for 2 minutes. They have to be able to stand in a line. They have to be able to say their ABC. It's really basic. And show that to your husband, like, because that's what I was looking at. Like, okay, what do I do for my son? Did I do enough for him this year? Can we start first grade? Like, what do I do? And if you go to the list, it's like, oh yeah, we did that. Like, it,
Okay, I think that's where he's coming from, is he doesn't want him to miss out on what other kids would get, and
it's so much classroom
So-
management. It would just be like teaching them to be quiet and sit in a circle.
Which
But-
traveling every 2 weeks will teach them
Yes.
stuff like
they're
that.
getting
Well,
better in
that's
the car.
right.
In the car every 2
Right.
weeks will do
Number
that.
Box is a great educational video. Plug that one in. Okay, it is. I'm so sorry. It's
oh, that's okay.
11:15, and we're gonna have to shift gears. There's another panel in here. This is gonna be the chef graduate panel is coming in, and so you have about 5 minutes to find your next one.